We talk about leadership all the time, right? But what if our whole idea of it is, well, a little bit wrong? We always seem to focus on these heroic, larger-than-life individuals. So today, we're going to dive into a really powerful, super practical framework that completely flips that idea on its head. Let's explore how leadership can become something we all share, not just a solo performance. So let's start with this one big question. What if leadership isn't actually a title or a spot on the org chart? What if it's something that anyone, and I mean anyone at any level, can help create? This single question, you'll see, is the key to unlocking a much better, much more effective way of working together. All right, here's our game plan. First, we're going to totally redefine what leadership actually is. Then, we'll break down its 3 essential pillars, the DAC model. After that, I'm going to give you a simple action plan, and we'll walk through a case study so you can see it in the real world. And finally, we'll wrap it all up with the key takeaways you can start using immediately. Okay, let's jump into the most important part first, shifting our mindset. And I want to be clear, this isn't just about learning some new technique. This is a fundamentally different way of looking at how great teams and organizations actually work. This quote from the Center for Creative Leadership, it just gets right to the heart of the matter. We put this enormous pressure on managers, right? We expect them to be perfect communicators, visionaries, strategists, the whole package. But that totally misses the point. Leadership is just so much bigger than any one person. So if it's not a person, then what is it? Well, it's a social process. Think about that. It means leadership isn't something that's pushed down from the top. It's an outcome that grows out of how a group works together. It happens in the daily conversations, in the meetings, in the trust between people. It emerges from the system itself. And this right here is the mindset shift in a nutshell. We need to stop asking, who's in charge, and start asking, hey, is our group actually producing the outcomes of leadership? See how that changes things? It shifts the focus from one person to a collective result, which is way more powerful. Okay, so what are these outcomes? How do we know if leadership is really happening? Well, the answer is in this simple, super memorable framework, DAC. These are the 3 things you can actually see and measure when that social process is working well. This diagram right here, this is the core of the entire model. True leadership lives right in the middle, at the intersection of 3 crucial elements: direction, alignment, and commitment. When your group has all 3 firing on all cylinders, that's when you know leadership is happening. But if even one of them is weak, the whole thing starts to wobble. Let's break these down, starting with direction. When you have strong direction, it's simple. Everyone on the team knows what winning looks like. You all agree on where you're going. But weak direction, that feels like chaos. People are confused, or even worse, different parts of the team have competing goals that are literally pulling everyone apart. Next up is alignment. So if direction is where you're going, alignment is how you're going to get there together. With strong alignment, work is coordinated, like a well-oiled machine. Everyone knows their role and how it connects to the big picture. Weak alignment, on the other hand, is when people are working in silos. You get wasted effort, constant rework, and important stuff just falls through the cracks. And finally, we have commitment. You can think of this as the emotional fuel for the journey. When commitment is strong, people feel a real mutual responsibility for the team's success. There's trust. People are all in. But when it's weak, well, then everyone just looks out for number one. They'll chip in when it's easy, but they aren't truly invested in the group's success. Okay, so that's the theory, but let's be honest. The real power of any model is how you can actually use it. So how do you put DAC into practice? It's a really simple, repeatable, 3-step process that literally anyone can get started with. The cycle is just this: assess, diagnose, and improve. It's that straightforward. First, you assess where your team currently stands with DAC. Then, you diagnose what's really causing any of the weak spots. And finally, you take specific, targeted actions to improve. Now, here's the most crucial part of step 1. You can't do this alone in a dark room. You have to get input from everybody. Just start by asking these simple questions. Do we all agree on our goals? That's your direction. Is our work coordinated effectively? That's your alignment. Is the group's success a top priority for all of us? That's commitment. All right, let's make this really concrete. Theory is great, but seeing this framework solve a messy, real-world problem is where it all clicks into place. So let's take a look at a product launch that's going off the rails at a place we'll just call Company A. So here's the scene. The launch is late,
the engineering team is frustrated, saying marketing keeps changing their minds about what they want. Meanwhile, the marketing team is furious, saying engineering is too slow and doesn't get what the customer needs. It's the classic blame game. Sound familiar to anyone?
Now, instead of just getting mad, let's use the DAC framework to diagnose what's really going on. First, the direction is weak because they have competing goals. Marketing needs flexibility, but engineering needs stability to build properly. Second, alignment is weak because they're working in total isolation, which leads to all that rework. And third, commitment is weak because everybody is just trying to protect their own department instead of focusing on the success of the project as a whole. And this is what's so powerful about the framework. The diagnosis points you directly to the solution. To fix direction, they need one single shared goal that both teams buy into. To fix alignment, they need to create clear processes for how they'll coordinate. And to build commitment, they have to actively foster a sense of shared responsibility. All of a sudden, the path forward becomes incredibly clear. So we've redefined leadership, we've broken down the DAC framework, and we've even seen it in action. Now let's boil all of this down into the most important takeaways you can start thinking about today. Okay, here are the 4 big things to remember. Number 1, leadership is a social process. It's something we do together, it's not a person. 2, stop looking for the leader and start looking for the 3 outcomes: direction, alignment, and commitment. 3, use that simple cycle: assess, diagnose, improve to make things better. And 4, and this is the most important one, just start the conversation with your team. This final thought really brings it all home. Improving leadership isn't a solo mission. It's not about you or any one person becoming some kind of superhero leader. It's about all of us learning how to do this shared work more effectively, together. So I'll leave you with this. Knowing now that leadership is shared work, what's one small thing you could do, maybe even today, to start a conversation about direction, alignment, or commitment with your team?